I think for risk, I think the way I see it is from a military side, from the special operations side. My first commander, Tim Zamansky, has a SEAL Team 2, and it was my first team that I was at, and he discussed stacking the odds in our favor, and he looked at it from a combat perspective, which is operationally, tactically, from our preparation, and then technically, whether it's night vision or air assets. And what that exactly meant is people in general think special forces operations are dangerous and high risk. And the reality is we didn't see it that way. We saw them as incredibly low risk because we stacked the odds in our favor. We used all these advantages to our benefit. And I would much rather have been in our position conducting our operations because we de-risked a lot of it. And in my mind, that's what sort of, when I think about investing and I think about value investing, what makes it, people talk about value stocks and they don't like to talk about them because they've been beaten up. Something's wrong with them. They're undervalued. They're misappreciated. They're underappreciated. So in my mind, that's sort of like the darkest time. And in the darkest time in my previous profession was the darkest night when the moon was down. And that's like the scariest night to go out in most people's minds. But for us, that was most advantageous because we did have technical, tactical, operational advantages. And so at the darkest time in our previous profession, that's when we went out and conducted ops because we de-risked a lot of it. In the value investing spectrum, I see it the same way where price is down, price has been beat up, the stock is being crushed. And our job is to say, how do we go in there and is it de-risked now that the price is low? And in general, the answer is yes, but that's only the first layer. You have to go in there and actually study this in depth and understand it in depth. Because at the end of the day, you're putting capital to work. Whether in this profession, it's capital from my investors that you take a level of responsibility. They've entrusted you with, their investment, their money. In my former profession, you're taking capital, but it's human capital. Before you send guys out the door to conduct an operation, let's say something happens, you can't mitigate all the risk. So what happens if you lose a guy? What happens if a guy gets injured? You want to be able to go back and say, did we do everything that we could have in order to mitigate the risk? And if the answer is yes, then that's a good place to be. But knowing that even then, there could still be something that goes wrong that's outside of your control.